Imagine driving down the highway at 120 kilometers per hour. Your battery management system detects an internal short circuit. A thermal runaway event is imminent. But instead of just flashing a warning light and telling you to pull over, explosive gas generators, the exact same pyrotechnics used in steering wheel airbags, detonate inside the chassis. In under 1 second, the entire high-voltage battery pack is physically ejected 33 to 60 meters away from the vehicle. Your car loses power, but you are perfectly safe. The battery burns in an empty ditch, completely separated from the passenger cabin. This is not a sci-fi movie concept. When I dug into recent internal patent filings, I found this exact engineering schematic. It is a newly authorized patent from Chery Automobile, part of their radical new Rhino battery matrix. For years, the industry consensus has been to build stronger firewalls, pour in more cooling fluid, and use thicker steel to contain battery fires. Chery looked at the fundamental physics and realized containment is a losing game against chemistry. Their underlying logic: ejection is the ultimate fire suppression. But this battery ejection technology is just one piece of a much larger, highly aggressive pivot. My research shows that Chery is rolling out a massive engineering deployment that fundamentally alters the supply chain and manufacturing landscape of the global EV market. We are talking about 6C supercharging, solid-state oxide architectures, and a fierce battle over the machines that actually build these batteries. Let me break down the reality of what is happening inside Chery's laboratories and the hidden bottlenecks no one is talking about. First, we need to understand the architecture. The Rhino battery matrix is not a single product. It is a dual chemistry platform covering both lithium iron phosphate, or LFP, and nickel cobalt manganese, or NCM. The numbers I extracted from their performance data are staggering. They are achieving a peak charging power of 1,200 kilowatts. That translates to replenishing 500 kilometers of range in exactly 5 minutes under extreme conditions. But how? High charging speeds usually destroy the structural integrity of the battery cells. When I analyzed the technical realization path, I found 3 specific engineering drivers. First, they engineered an ion and electron cross-conductive network, chemically modifying the materials to boost conductivity by 15%. Second, they utilize a gradient electrode design. By varying the porosity of the electrode from top to bottom, they increase lithium-ion diffusion speeds by 20%. Finally, they developed a next-generation liquid cooling system, but their cooling system has a counterintuitive twist. According to a utility patent they filed, they are using a strict dry-wet separation design. Normally, liquid cooling plates sit inside the battery pack to maximize thermal transfer. The problem is, if a leak occurs, the coolant shorts out the high-voltage components, causing the exact fire it was meant to prevent. Chery completely separated the liquid cooling loops outside the electrical containment, using highly specialized external and internal thermal conductive pads to bridge the temperature gap. It is a brilliant mechanical workaround that sacrifices a tiny fraction of thermal efficiency for an absolute guarantee against liquid-induced short circuits. Furthermore, they have completely revamped their battery management system, or BMS. They are using a daisy chain connection topology. This system stays active 24/7, even when the car is completely shut off and asleep. By constantly monitoring 8 specific logic conditions, such as a voltage drop below 2 volts paired with a temperature spike of 3 degrees Celsius per second, it can predict a failure 100 days in advance. But while liquid-based batteries are paying the bills today, the true endgame is solid state. And this is where the engineering reality gets incredibly complicated. Chery has chosen the oxide plus polymer composite solid-state electrolyte route. This is a very specific chemical bet. Pure oxide is too brittle for automotive applications, and pure polymer cannot withstand high voltages. By combining them, they are aiming for the ultimate theoretical limit of lithium batteries. Currently, their pilot line is already producing 60 ampere-hours automotive-grade cells, with an energy density of 400 watt-hours per kilogram. Their target is 600 watt-hours per kilogram, but here is the massive engineering hurdle they had to solve: the silicon anode. When lithium ions embed into a silicon anode during charging, the silicon expands by a massive 300%. This physical swelling shatters traditional solid electrolytes. To solve this root cause, Chery developed a step pressure control loop. The vehicle dynamically adjusts the physical pressure exerted on the battery pack during the charge and discharge cycles, literally giving the battery room to breathe as it swells and compressing it as it shrinks. While Western media is busy debating tariffs, the actual technological endgame has already shifted. What you see on this screen is just the tip of the iceberg. To understand who actually survives the solid-state transition, we have released an exclusive 15-page intelligence brief on BYD's solid-state architecture. Inside, we bypass the PR hype. We provide a direct benchmarking of BYD against Toyota, CATL, and QuantumScape. But we went deeper. For the investors watching, we have mapped the hidden supply chain behind this tech. We tracked down the exact Tier 2 suppliers and their market tickers, all indexed in our master supply chain database. Scan the QR code right now or visit voltchina.net. Get the free intelligence brief and see how you can access the full proprietary database. Don't invest on headlines. Invest on engineering realities. Now, having the patents is one thing. Actually manufacturing these cells at scale without going bankrupt is another entirely. This brings us to the most critical metric in battery manufacturing, the yield rate. When I benchmarked Chery against global giants, the contrast was revealing. Right now, LG Energy Solution is the undisputed king of precision manufacturing. In their new 46 series large cylindrical cells, which by the way, Chery just signed an 8 gigawatt-hour procurement contract for, LG has achieved an astonishing yield rate of 99.98%. They did this by deploying global first high-speed winding lines running at 100 meters per minute, backed by intense AI visual inspection. On the other side, we have Tesla's 4680 dry electrode process. For years, Tesla struggled to get their yield above 60%. It was a manufacturing nightmare. But internal data from Q1 of 2026 shows Tesla finally broke the 90% yield barrier at their Texas Gigafactory, pushing out 40 gigawatt-hours of annual capacity. Where does Chery's in-house production stand? Through their subsidiary, Goshen High-Tech, and their own startup, they are scaling rapidly. They just maxed out a 5 gigawatt-hour line and are building a massive 20 gigawatt-hour facility expected to hit full production by July 2026. Their design rhythm is 1 cell per second. While their exact yield is a guarded secret, supply chain analysis suggests they are hovering between 85 and 90%. They are surviving, but they are not yet matching LG's flawless execution. And this brings me to the absolute core vulnerability of China's battery dominance. The hidden bottleneck isn't the lithium, it isn't the patents, it is the machines that build the machines. When I dug into the equipment procurement logs for Chery's battery plants, a glaring dependency emerged. China has successfully localized the coating machines. Companies like Wuxi Lead Intelligent Equipment now produce coating equipment with a thickness error margin of under plus or minus 3 micrometers. That is 100% localized. But laser welding is a completely different story. To build a high-density battery, you must weld microscopic layers of copper and aluminum together without burning through the foils. It requires extreme power and microscopic precision. And who controls this technology? Germany and Japan. My research shows that for high-power laser welding, Chinese battery manufacturers are still highly dependent on German companies like Trumpf and KUKA, and Japanese firms like Amada and Mazak. Trumpf alone has installed over 4,000 high-power lasers in battery plants globally. Their green laser technology is uniquely capable of welding dissimilar metals like copper and aluminum with zero defects. Even though domestic Chinese equipment can match the specs on paper, they fall short on MTBF, mean time between failures. Chinese laser welders still have a 5 to 8% performance gap in continuous, long-term operational stability. If your laser welder goes out of alignment for just 1 minute on a high-speed line, you produce 60 defective, highly dangerous batteries. This is the underlying logic of the next phase of the EV war. Chery has built an incredible technological moat with the Rhino matrix. They have dual chemistry versatility, brilliant safety innovations like the battery ejection system, and a clear path to solid-state energy density. But until the domestic supply chain masters the fundamental physics of continuous laser stability, their massive production scale remains tethered to foreign capital equipment. The industry is moving from chemical innovation to extreme manufacturing execution. Do you think legacy automakers like Chery can out-manufacture precision giants like LG and Tesla in the long run? Let me know your thoughts down below. Subscribe to master the world's fastest-moving tech market before your competitors do.